And joining me now to discuss all this is Robert Driscoll. He's a former DOJ official. Robert, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Does the president have a case here?
In short, no. He may have an issue, but he doesn't have a case. The case is not long for this world and will get thrown out, I would imagine, fairly early in the process. It's got a lot of the law just flat out backwards. And I think the purpose of his case is to flag the issue, get people riled up about the issue, and maybe change the law. But on the case itself, I think it's going nowhere. What
about the case of Section 230? I mean, if there's anything to pinpoint about what needs to be changed, it's an old rule that protects these huge mega-trillion-dollar companies from billions of dollars in lawsuits, and they have betrayed the rule itself.
Well, I mean, Section 230 simply says that you can't sue the person who put something online. You have to sue the person who wrote it. So, I mean, I think anybody who has a comment section needs Section 230 for protection. And frankly, startups need it as much as the big people do, because if you ever started your own website and somebody put a comment on it, you don't want to be held liable for that.
But, Robert, first of all, a lot of those small companies that have started up get eaten up just as quickly as they get started up by the big companies, and that's where the antitrust measures might come in to get the companies. But the idea of 230 itself is that these companies, these social media platforms, are just that. They're platforms that don't get involved in editorial content. Therefore, they are not liable to those who disagree with that editorial content. But we know from what has happened in the past year and a half that they get involved in editorial content all the time. Just to name a couple of things, think of what happened with the Hunter Biden story. That was basically, as far as we know now, true based on that laptop. It was censored outright right before the election. Might have had an effect on the election itself. They censored information about the Wuhan lab in China that turned out to have a lot of substance to it. And of course, they have had actually taken Donald Trump off of their platforms entirely. Let's listen to Donald Trump talk about that. Roll tape.
There is no better evidence that big tech is out of control than the fact that they banned the sitting president of the United States earlier this year. If they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone.
Now, the point is not whether a private company can do that on its own platform, but whether or not that platform is neutral. These platforms are not.
Right, and you're saying neutral. The neutral is nowhere in Section 230. That's just wrong. It's a talking point that people have, but it's just incorrect. 230 does not require neutrality. It doesn't require it. You're not. Fox News doesn't have to be neutral. CNN doesn't have to be neutral. We can find places we want online that are neutral if we want, but there is no. Maybe we should have a neutrality requirement. Maybe we should bring back the fairness doctrine. These are all things people should consider. But the notion that this,
Robert, you're saying that 230 does not. You're saying that 230. There's nothing in 230 about these platforms being nothing but platforms. That is, that they are neutral in the way that they present the information. They're not responsible for that information. That's incorrect. What does 230 do then?
No requirement to be neutral.
Then tell us what 230 does.
All 230 does is protect Internet companies and Internet providers from being sued for comments they didn't write. So if in your comment section you defamed, somebody defamed somebody else, they could sue the person who, wrote the defamation, but they couldn't sue the person who hosted it, AOL or Facebook or whoever. That's all the 230 says, is it protects, think any comment section, all the outrageous things you read in the comment section. If you didn't have 230, the person who hosted the comment section could be held responsible for it.
Robert, there are a lot of lawyers that would love to take you into court on your suggestion of what 230 is and what it does or does not do. But unfortunately, we don't have time to do that here. Robert, thank you very much. Robert Driscoll, appreciate it.